Here we go. What's up, man?
What's up? How you doing?
Not a whole lot. I'm thank you for letting me take a little bit of your time with this project that I'm working on. It's a video series for the 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth. And you're one of the guys that I thought of that could offer a little bit of information.
I'm blushing. Thank you.
You're one of the guys that I watch your videos, I watch your posts, and I'm like, this guy knows something that other people need to pick up on. So first off, what's going on in your life?
Well, let's start at the beginning. No, a few months ago, my ex and I, we decided to part ways, and so I moved from Odessa to Austin. And over the summer, I've lost 40 pounds, and I've got a great job right now, and just sort of really reset my life hard. I wrote a book this summer. It's not quite ready for being published yet, but it's close. And I really taken my attitude and turned it around because it was kind of sour for a good while there. And here we are.
Wow, that's great. 40 pounds? That's
Yeah.
insane. That's gonna be a whole other video. So
Right.
So the one that I wanted to start with, well, the one that we had agreed on, the subject for you was environment. And so I've got a couple of questions about what it is that you did in your life pertaining to your environment that helped you grow. So the first one is, what did you change about your physical environment?
Well, obviously location, but part of the issues that I was having was the environment that I was living in. It wasn't as like orderly and organized as I'm starting to realize my brain needs, and that really affected me. At work, I need to have my desk clean, and too many things, and then it just sort of short circuits everything, which I don't know if that's how it is for other people, but I've definitely found that that's an important thing. My brain just tries to find cool little things that are going on, which is fun enough, but it's not really functional. So get rid of the excess and keep what is necessary. I've found is really what works so far as environmentally. That and I've also changed my physical environment when it comes to working out, as you might imagine. I would just work out at the house or maybe go to the gym and lift weights, but I wasn't taking it serious. And so I upped the ante from lifting weights where you can either do it hard or not. And I started doing rock climbing over the summer and taking jujitsu more serious. Instead of being in and out, I've been there pretty much every single day since June. And those two things, there's not really a whole lot of like leeway there. You have to take it serious because otherwise you're going to fall 15 feet and there's a potential injury there, or somebody chokes you out. It sounds like a great Friday night, but some people take it serious. So you really have to appreciate the level of seriousness of whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
cool. Cool. Okay, so the next one that I had is, what did you change about your environment when it comes to like relationships, friends, and family? How did you go from that thing that was really hurting you to your the focus that you have now, the energy that you have now? Give me a little bit of that journey.
Okay, well, relationships, they come and go. You've got highs and lows, and I'm not trying to defecate on anybody, but I realized that there were certain things that I needed that weren't being provided, and likewise, I'm sure. But once I removed myself from that environment, like when you're not in a place where it's constantly something's poking you, you get time to reflect and realize, oh, that thing was poking me the whole time and it didn't feel good, right? I didn't like that. And so I wasn't operating on the wavelength or the level that I'd like to be. Um, on top of that, I've made a concerted effort to spend time with my friends, like good time with my friends since I've been down here. They help me get through that because, you've always got feels and stuff at the end of a relationship. And they really help me reset and reprioritize, like, hey, yes, that's it, but the world still goes on. You're still fine. Let's rebuild a better you. And they've been instrumental in that. They've been awesome.
That's cool. It's neat to that whenever you're in a situation, you don't really realize what's happening or what's going on because that's all you know, or that's what you think you know. Once you separate yourself from that, your eyes are open, like, man, that's what was going on. That's one of the things that was keeping me from reaching my potential. And then you're like, whoa, it's like it wakes you up because the things are different now. And I mean, just to look at you and to listen to you and to watch your videos and see what's going on in the world, I'm like, man, this guy did something. And so in the arena of environment, that's cool.
100%.
Okay, so
Also, thank you for watching my videos. I appreciate it.
It's great. You're hilarious. You are hilarious.
Look for our next.
We've always had good conversations. Back when we were working at Rockstar,
Yeah.
I was the DJ, you were the bouncer, and we'd sit there and stare out in the crowd, and we'd have good conversations. Good conversations, fitness, whatever. Whenever we were talking about it, it was always good conversations. Okay, so the next question that I've got, you already talked about the people that are surrounding you and how that affects your growth. The next one was, how does keeping your mental environment, the garden of your mind, if you will, clear, intended, help you grow?
Oh, that is a huge one. So, being recently single, that means that I'm out in the dating pool, right? Um, this is a very fresh instance. So, I realized the other day that there was this young lady I was talking to. Things were going great. And then she sort of backed off. And so instead of like pouring energy into something that um, likely isn't worth all of that energy, because like if you're not interested, then you're not going to give me the energy I'm looking for, right?
Right.
And we can't grow together on the same pace if it's not on the same pace. Anyway, so instead of just trying to eke that out as my younger self would have done, said, hey, well, maybe let's try again and whatever, it was just sort of like okay, well, I don't mean any disrespect here, but have a nice life, that's it, right? So that is my example, but the reality is you can't have things that are, how do the kids say these days, rent free in your mind. No, you're going to pay the rent. You've got to make sure that the things that you're focusing on are things that, I mean, you never know if it's going to move you forward or not, but the best according to your intuition that you think will move you forward in the directions you want to go. So, words, I hope that was.
No, that's good. That's good. That's what choices did you make within your own mind garden, if you will, that made you say, okay, I'm gonna accept this and I'm not gonna accept that, and then the outcome.
So I've been taking this course from Laurie Santos. It's offered from Yale, free online. I'm sure you can look it up. I forget the exact title of it, but it's basically a course on happiness and the psychological tools that we know will work in building up your happiness. And basically it's like, okay, it only takes a fraction of a second for your mind to slip back into a thought loop, right? And we all know that a thought loop can be a few minutes or it can be a few hours, and it can just always be present, taking up the horsepower in your brain. And there's a couple of things that you can do to stop that. one thing that I do is write it down, because once it's written down, it's like, okay, well, that's recorded. It's done. I don't need to keep doing that same conversation over and over again. Another thing is realizing, okay, this conversation doesn't need to happen anymore, right? So what I would do, I started doing this after I read David Goggins' book. What the hell is the name of it? David Goggins' book.
He's
You
awesome.
guys can look it
Yeah,
up.
he's
Good
awesome.
stuff. But I would literally walk over to the mirror and have a short conversation with myself, like, "Hey, this isn't helping. Stop." And I would stop for a few minutes, and just not doing, practicing staying away from things that aren't helping you lets you focus on things that will. It helps free up that stuff that you don't even know or realize is taking up your horsepower, your mental horsepower. You got to redirect that energy away from something negative or something useless that is indifferent, and put it towards the things that you want.
That's perfect. That reminds me of Jim Rohn. He said something about like the garden of your mind, that if you don't tend it, the weeds will take over. And the weeds being negative thoughts, negative feelings, feelings of inadequacy, stuff like that. So if you don't fill your mind and plant good seeds, then you're going to have weeds, and the weeds will take over the entire thing if you are not actively tending your garden.
Yeah. Well, it's I forget where I was reading it, but basically most ancient cultures and even our own culture in the past used to very much value people that have trained their mind um, to discipline their mind, right? Just having your feels run wild, it can feel good and it can be exciting, but that's only a small part of it. And another small part of it is feeling bad. And then there's just this level of chaos in between, right? Uh, you don't need that and you don't want that. So disciplining your mind, if we want to like learn from history or try to, it's a valuable thing that they valued for a reason. Now we don't understand their circumstances as well anymore, but it still applies today. You don't need to spend 6 hours on Instagram or TikTok. I had to delete TikTok because I was like, I am spending way too much time on this. I loved it and they're funny, dude, but
Yeah.
where does it add, you know?
Yeah, you got to think about your day. I taught a class this past Saturday about time management, and
Okay.
how you've got to police your time if you want to achieve anything in your life. You've got to set your schedule, stick by your schedule, and adapt your schedule. But if you let little things like TikTok rule your day, because that's exactly what it does. My wife, God bless her, she'll sit there for 2 hours cackling, just wow. It's hilarious. It's great to see her happy. But I sit there and I think about the things that I teach, and I'm like, that's 2 hours. We could have done something for 2 hours, or whatever. But yeah, that's insane. That's
Well, just to talk about that course that I was taking again, she that's a point that Lori Santos brings up, is that like we perceive the idea of downtime as like where we recharge our batteries, but all of the psychological indicators and tests they've done on that show we actually feel worse whenever we're sitting watching TV or just going through Instagram, TikTok, what have you. Go to a movie, can be fun, but it doesn't add. It slowly lowers the level, and people add to their lives and their mindset through struggle, which is exactly the opposite of what we're taught when we're young. Is like, well, you want a nice cushy life. No, you want to struggle with something that you perceive as valuable, that adds value.
wow. Struggle. What was that? Say that again.
Oh, dude, I
Struggle with what you perceive as valuable.
yeah, I mean, it can be valuable to yourself or the world or your community or whatever in between, but whatever it is you perceive as valuable, that's where you need to be struggling and growing and learning and all those good things.
That's where you're going to put your energy because you see the value in it. You
Yeah.
see the value and you know that's what I want. If the struggle is going to be there. You say, that's what I want. What do I got to go through to get there? That's awesome.
So, one of my favorite philosophers is, I'm going to butcher his name, but I believe it's Friedrich Nietzsche. Anyway, he has a very, I'm going to paraphrase because I don't know the exact quote, but it's something along the lines of, any man that knows his why can make it through any how, right? So if you've got a direction, then you can go through anything to get to what you're trying to get to.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, that's all the questions that I have for today. Is there anything that you want to add on environment and what you can do within your environment? Maybe some tricks that helped you, or a quote or something that pushed you forward whenever you're changing your physical environment, your relationships?
So I don't have like a quote per se. Damn it. No, I don't have a quote per se, but I would say that that's something that not a lot of us, I don't think that especially younger people really consider that as one of the factors, but take it from me firsthand. If you start cleaning up your environment, you'll realize that it also cleans up part of your mind. You don't have as many to-do lists. You don't have as many things running in the background and little like, oh, I've got to handle this. I've got to handle that. I've got to handle this. I've got to handle that. There's not memories linked to every single thing that's, cluttering your existence. So clean up your area. It will help clean up your mind. Just a good summary of the point, I think. And that is also metaphorical as well. So like if you've got things that are taking up your thought power and whatnot, clean that up, write it down, record it, revisit it if necessary, but make sure that you're not just spinning your wheels. You actually dig in and get some traction and go.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's perfect. Cool. Well, sir, thank you so much for your time today. If any of you folks that are watching would like to get in touch with Curtis or myself, we'll probably have a link or a number or an email that you can reach us at the bottom. Curtis has a YouTube page, Curtis Gray, and he's got some awesome like nuggets of information, funny videos, funny stories. So if not for the personal growth, go visit Curtis on his page. We'll have the link on the bottom. And so, Curtis, thank you so much.
Hey, I appreciate it, David. And I like what you're doing. Keep it up, man.
Thanks, buddy. We'll see you next time.
All right. You have a good one.
Okay.